How can I learn French when I have no one to speak French with? I get this question a lot. It seems that many people are in a situation where they are trying to learn French, but they just don't have anyone supporting them. So if that is your case, this video is for you. I will share 7 critical steps that you need to take if you want to learn French and you currently do not have anyone to speak French or learn French with. So if that sounds interesting, keep watching. My name is Angel Pretot, and on this channel we talk about what it really takes to learn French and become fluent. Make sure you subscribe because I make new videos every single Monday and you don't want to miss them. First, this might sound like bad news, but please stick with me because I'll show you how you can overcome this. So how can you learn French if you don't have any French speakers around you? To put it bluntly, you can't. By definition, learning and practicing a language requires communication, so you need at least one other human involved, and the more you have, the better. But if you follow the steps in this video, eventually you won't be alone anymore and you will be able to learn French for real. So let's get into the steps. Step 1 is to start with why. One of the very first videos that I made on this channel over 3 years ago was about the one thing that you need to learn French, the one thing that makes the difference between succeeding at learning a language and failing at it, and specifically how that was discovered randomly by language learning experts in the 1950s when their perfect miracle method swiftly turned into a massive failure. So I'll put that video up here if you want to watch next. The story is quite entertaining. The big takeaway of that video is that the main difference between failing and succeeding is whether or not you have a good reason to learn French. And that is even more critical if you are learning French on your own. For most people who learn French successfully, their French learning journey is triggered by a situation or by people around them, such as marrying a French speaker, living in a French-speaking country, or needing to speak French with colleagues. So if you're in a situation where you have no one to speak to as you are learning French, it means that none of these traditional situations apply. So you want to get really clear on why you are learning French, because otherwise you hardly have any chance of success. Not because you don't have anyone to speak to, because that is something we will solve in the next few steps, but because you don't have a strong reason why. So that is step 1. Make sure you have a strong reason why. And step 2 is taking this a little bit further. Step number 2 is to deepen your commitment. So you might be wanting to learn French because it will help you get a better job, or get into a particular school or university, or perhaps emigrate. These are all valid reasons that can justify wanting to learn French, even if you don't have any French speaker around you. However, the issue with this unique situation is that your environment is not supporting you. And so when your environment is not conducive to learning, this means that you will need a lot of willpower to get it done. And you will only have enough willpower if you have a very strong commitment. So you want to make sure that your commitment is deep and solid. Last week, I made a video all about commitment, and that video contains an exercise to strengthen your commitment. I strongly recommend you do that exercise as step 2 in this process, so I will link the video up here so you can find it. Step number 3 is to define what you will learn very specifically. So once you know why you're learning French and your commitment is strong, it is time to define exactly what you want to study. If you would decide to sign up for one-on-one coaching with me, we would do this step together at the very beginning of your coaching program. I make a personal curriculum for every single coaching client I have because it's very important to work on exactly what you need to learn specifically so you don't waste your time. So if you're not planning on learning one-on-one with me right now, I recommend defining what you need to learn at this point in the process because this will influence the next step. I have this worksheet which will help you define precisely what you need to study based on your goal. This worksheet is completely free and you can download it via the link in the description below. Step number 4 is to find a person, or it could also be a group, which you will learn French with. If your person is me or another coach who puts a strong emphasis on defining your specific curriculum, then step 3 and step 4 will be inverted in the process for you. Else, you will really want to have step 3 completed before you look for a person or a group, because you want to find someone whose goals will be aligned with yours. It doesn't really matter whether you sign up for a group class, you hire a teacher or a tutor to work with you one-on-one, or you get a language partner or a study buddy. And it doesn't matter if it's online or offline, as long as you make sure that their goals are aligned with yours and that they have the ability and competence to support you on your journey, which is why it is so important to have this part of the process done before you look for someone. If you consider signing up for a group class, you want to ask the teacher if the things which you wrote on the worksheet will be covered on that course. If not, then it's just not the right class for you. If you choose to hire a one-on-one teacher or tutor, you can, and in fact you should, ask them to tailor your classes to include what is on your list. Finally, if you decide to learn with a study buddy or a language partner, meaning someone who will study with you for free, exchanging their help for your help, you want to ask them to go through the first 3 steps in that process as well and make sure that their goals are aligned with yours and that they will be as committed as you are. The worst thing that you can do at this stage is to find a friend who also wants to learn French and then say together with this friend, let's do it together, and then have nothing happen or not much happen just because the other person is just not committed. That is the worst that could happen at this stage. So make sure that you find a person or a group whose goals are aligned with yours and that they will be as committed as you are. And then you can move on to step number 5, which is to commit to a schedule. So now that you have your curriculum well defined and you have a person or a group to talk to, you want to commit to a schedule with that other person or group. So if you are signing up for a group class, you just need to commit to show up for the class. But if it's one-on-one, you want to find a day and time that works for both of you. As a coach, I am staying flexible because some of my clients travel around the world and they might have changing schedule, etc. But if it's at all possible for you, I really recommend you commit to the same time every week, or at the very least, commit to some time slots and put them in your calendar ahead of time. And most importantly, you want to make sure that the other person is committed to showing up as well, especially if it's someone you are not paying. Once this is done and you have your commitment in your calendar with your other person, you can move on to step number 6, which is to set up your environment and to implement habits to support your study. So in step number 2, we mentioned that if people around you and your environment are not naturally supporting your study, you will need a lot of willpower to get it done. So now is a good time to change as many things as you can in your environment and your routine to make it easier for you to study. I recommend you watch this video about boosting your French learning abilities by tweaking your environment. There are many ways that you can tweak your environment a little bit to make learning French a lot easier on your brain. Now that you're committed to learning French and playing full on, it is a good time to do that. It will make it easier to stay motivated on the long run. Step 7, and this is a recurring step, is to evaluate your progress periodically. So from time to time, you want to make sure that you're still on track with your goals and you're making progress. This step is also included in this worksheet here. In fact, on the right side of the worksheet here, there is a built-in system that allows you to visualize how much progress you've done so far and how much you have left to learn. This only works if you keep the worksheet up to date, so I recommend updating it once a month. You can set a reminder in your phone to go off on the same day of every month to evaluate where you're at in your French study and if your system is still working. Here are some of the questions you want to ask yourself at that point. Are you still on track? How much progress have you made since last time? Is your current way of studying efficient? What are the next things that you want to work on? And of course, you can get the next thing from your list here. Is your person, from step number 4, remember, is your person still on track too? And if not, why? Did they give up? Are they often unavailable? Do they have different goals than yours? Unfortunately, it's pretty frequent among language partners and study buddies to just give up on learning French or to be less committed after a while than they were at first. And in fact, even you might be less committed after a while, and that would be completely natural. So in this case, you want to return to step 2 in that process and do that exercise again. On the contrary, if you are very committed and your person is not, sometimes you just need to accept it and find another person. So that would mean that you have to do step 4 and step 5 again. Learning French on your own can be a very tricky challenge and you'll often feel like you're swimming against the current. But if you are really committed, it is absolutely possible to find the people that will support you, to grow together with these people and to reach the level of French that you want. If you feel like you are stuck in your French study because your goals are so specific that you just can't find a group, school or tutor that can really help you, or you would like some personal help for any other reason, I still have a couple of spots available for one-on-one coaching, and you can book a call with me to speak about it via the link in the description below. Thank you for watching this video until the end. I wish you the best of luck on your French learning journey. Here is another video that will help you, and I will see you next Monday.